Hello, happy Valentine's Day if you're watching this the day that I post it. And I thought that it might be fitting even for Valentine's Day to share a message. And this message is one of, if you're waiting for something from God, that there are reasons that he waits. A lot of times it's because he's a show off. And he wants to show off in the best way possible. And he wants us to co-create with that showing offness. So yesterday, I have been believing for something for very many months now, and I've been staying faithful as I'm able to. I have been working on the neuroplasticity of my brain to form new circuits, to get everything that is not supposed to be there, I've been weeding out, or been trying to. And I know I am. I'm weeding them out. And so yesterday, though, in the morning, I was having a little bit of a tough time, throwing a little bit of a temper tantrum about this little waiting period that I'm in. And oftentimes I think the waiting period just stretches our faith a little bit more, because in this way, I've never had to wait at all to have help in this area. So yesterday, he rejuvenated my faith, because I always ask him, okay, what are we going to read today? What's our adventures today? Where are we? And then I'll open the book up, because I've already read the whole Bible a lot of times. So it's Bible roulette. And if you do ever play it, just start from the beginning of whatever verse, so that you can at least get the whole story, is just my advice. But I'm in the book of John, on John 11. And this is where Jesus has his friends, Martha, Mary, and Lazarus. And most people know about these people in the Bible. These are the big ones, right? These are his close friends outside of even his apostles. And he had spent time in their house. I believe their house might have been like a church, like the way that church really is meant to be, with all believers just having community together and getting revelation. But they were learning directly from the biggest, the best teacher there, Jesus. And they had told him that Jesus was sick. That Lazarus was sick, not Jesus. That Lazarus was sick. And they were calling, Mary and Martha, saying, please come help, because they knew that he could. And it says that, but when Jesus heard it, he said, this sickness is not unto death, but for the glory of God, that the Son of God may be glorified. So he already knows that Lazarus is not going to die, right? He knows everything anyway, because he's so in tune and one with the Father, like we have the ability to be, if we choose to. And he basically said, it's not going to end in death. And then he said, it says that now Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. He loved them. Therefore, when he heard he was sick, he stayed where he was for 2 more days. He stayed there for 2 more days. Now, I thought about that, and I'm like, this is starting to resonate with me where I am right now. You're telling me that basically was a word for me, a word of encouragement. The fact that I turned to that place in the Bible when I needed this message the most. God is real. He is there. And he's awesome with his messages at these timely. That's why I love the Bible, because we don't have to have the Bible. And there's nothing great and glorious about the Bible except for these people. This John is an eyewitness. His are eyewitness testimonies, because he is an apostle. But these words encourage us. And since he wrote the words on our heart, it magnifies. And you can feel it. It's like a friend talking to you. But anyway, so he says because he loved them, he waited. And then it says he was talking to his apostles that he was with, and he was telling them the situation, like, hey, look. And he basically said, Lazarus is dead. Okay. And I'm shortening this up, because I know about attention spans. Mine's like that of a squirrel sometimes. And it says, finally he said, he's dead, and now we're going to go. But remember, he waited 2 days on purpose. And it said, so when Jesus came, he found that Lazarus had already been in the tomb for 4 days. Okay. And when he got into the town, but outside the village, and we'll learn that later, it said that Martha Now, we hear a lot about Martha and Mary, the Martha-Mary story. The one that we always hear is how Martha was distracted and Mary was at Jesus' feet. Isn't that awesome how Mary is so good, yay. But we're about to find out that Martha actually learned things in her time that she might not have been as distracted as everybody may believe. And I don't know what's going on with Mary, but and it says that she ran out to him, but she said to him, Lord, if you had been here. Now she ran. She heard that Jesus was coming and she ran out of the house. Mary's still staying behind at this point. And she ran to meet him before he even got in the village. Now that's faith. That if you really believe in something, that is how you behave, right? You'll run to it. And it says, that she said, if you'd been here, my brother wouldn't have died, but listen to her But I even know now that anything you ask God, he'll give you. That right there shows Mary stayed back in the house. I don't know what happened with her, but she was upset. Their brother just died. She was obviously focusing on that, though, where Martha had a hold of it, and she ran to get him. Now, she had that big butt, right? Like on Pee Wee Herman, where he says, everyone's got a big butt. What's your big butt? I don't know. I'm weird. So, and it said, Jesus said to her, your brother will rise again. And here's another thing that shows she must have been paying attention. They don't even tell us about this conversation ever in any story that I remember. But it says, Martha said unto him, I know that he shall rise again in the resurrection on the last day. She's still hearing, she's repeating things that she heard and knew. And Jesus said, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth on me, though he shall die, he will live. And he said, do you believe this, basically? And she said, yes, Lord, I believe that you're the Christ, or Savior, the Messiah, and the Son of God when he comes into the world. You are him, basically. She was saying, yes, I believe that. Now, she stopped there, and she didn't say the rest of it. And I don't know if that means anything or not, but I just kind of thought that was strange that she didn't say, and I know that the rest of what you said is true, too. So, I mean, I don't know. But, and it says, then she went and then she went to go grab Mary, which is what you do, right? Hey, listen to what he just, come out here. Don't stay in the house mourning. Come here. The master's here. The teacher's here. What are you doing? And it says the Jews who were with her in her house and were consoling her, Mary, when they saw how quick Mary then ran up after Martha went in there to get her, that they ran to go to the tomb with her. And supposing that he was there to weep, Mary, therefore, when she came, was where Jesus was, fell down at his feet. Now, Mary is falling down at his feet crying. It's just a little bit of a different, I see it differently. Like Martha didn't go crying or begging or anything. She went saying, I know you can do this. Full faith. Mary is crying beside herself and on her knees begging, basically. And that's in my mind anyways. That doesn't mean that's how it went down. This is my narrative of the story. And it says, when Jesus saw her weeping, and the Jews were also weeping that came with her, he groaned in the spirit and was troubled. And he said, where have you laid him? And they said unto him, Lord, come and see. Now, the thing is, Jesus knew that Lazarus was going to rise. They already made that clear. He had made that clear with his words. And he already said, this is for the glory of God so that you'll believe, right? That groaning in the spirit, to me, was like a sigh. And one of concern. It says that he was troubled. I feel like he was concerned because you guys have been spending all this time with me and still you're just not getting this message. He's patient, but he was troubled. And the Jews, when he went, and then it says that Jesus wept. I really feel with my whole heart, he wept because of their lack of belief and understanding what he had been telling them the whole time. The Jews standing around said, see how much he loves him, he's crying. It's like, no, why would he cry? He knows that Lazarus is going to rise again. That's not why he's crying or troubled. And then someone else said, well, couldn't he, this person that's done all these miracles, couldn't he have made this not happen? And Jesus was groaned again and said, open, roll the stone back from the tomb. And when they rolled, and Martha, now here's Martha, she's like, but he's been in there, it's going to stink, like it's going to smell really bad. And basically that's her with her human reasoning now coming in again, instead of just saying, okay, I'll do whatever you say because I know what you're doing. Her human reasoning. And we all do that. So that's not a knock on Martha, because I think Martha's like the soldier of faith here in this whole story that's not talked about enough on her behalf. Not that it's a game or a competition, but I still believe she deserves kudos for this stuff. And then we all know the rest of the story. He said with a loud voice, get up, Lazarus, come forward. And then Lazarus, I hear this, I just see this, picture this. He's wrapped like a mummy. Here he comes, and he's got the cloths all wrapped around him. And then he says, loose him. Basically loose the clothes from him. And to me, that's like where he had said, whatever we bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever we loose on earth will be loosed in heaven, right? Belief. I never really understood like the wording there or anything like that, but I get it now. It's like this whole manifestation thing, this whole abundant life that Jesus came. I will give you these things, know that, make him the desire of your heart. And then when you do that, he's going to give you the desires of your heart. And I believe that's because the desires of your heart are going to become aligned with what God has for you. But that's just how I feel. But definitely is a message there that for me, that I hope to give you if you're in a waiting period right now, that we may tarry, it'll come. He's there. He's working things out behind the scenes for our good. He knows the best timing. So don't let our sense of timing get in the way of our faith. Keep the faith. And I hope that you get to do something wonderful today for yourself and for someone else. Maybe if you're a couple, go show some love to somebody that doesn't have anything. I don't know. I'm going to look for things to do, ways to make somebody happy today. So again, happy Valentine's Day if you're watching that today. And I hope this message encouraged you that if you're waiting, he's going to come. He's just waiting for that big, awesome moment to show off a little bit. And what better of a person to do it through than you? Have a good day.